Alright, good day and welcome to another BowmanWebServices.com video. Today's video is going to be about Pinterest and how you would use Pinterest as like a search engine. And so, let's have a quick look here on something like, we go back and remember we're doing a little quick study on hotel and resort, SEO or SEO strategy or content resort or content marketing strategy for resorts. And so, we have this whole article here, a bunch of videos talking about how somebody would look at the Cancun wedding niche, etc., etc. And so, continuing kind of on that, but with a separate little study, let's just talk about Pinterest for a second. So I can do something like Cancun weddings, and I can see that the websites we were talking about, are showing up in and around the search results. And then some things to note is you see when I hover over here, ignore this whole thing. This is my own saving thing, right? Because I'm logged in. But if I just hover over it, you see the no link is here, right? And some have a link. And so these, remember we were talking about these different not direct booking kind of services, okay, or different blogs and stuff that are promoting different resorts or different, multiple resorts or different destination wedding, people, vendors, right? And so you can see that, really resorts have not gotten on the ball here on creating, different, pictures. And so here's Haven Resorts. They're definitely on our list, but they weren't ranking very good, right? They weren't on the first page of Google for any of the four search terms that we were targeting or looking at, right? And so again, as I go on down, I can kind of see that this really, for this keyword phrase, it is not optimized very well. And so somebody could very easily and very quickly go in and use their current pictures and just do it the right way. And so what I could notice here is if I were to go and I pull up we've been rooting for Sandos Resorts, and so I have my own thing going with Sandos as a little mini vac agent and retail agent. And so been rooting for them. And so their Cancun weddings page actually has outdated links and stuff. And so even though a few years back they had a separate website altogether for their wedding stuff called sandosweddings.com. And so they've actually now that redirects to a landing page on site, which is fantastic because you want to have all your content in one place. But now you need to go back out to Pinterest and either delete all those pictures. Now I don't think I'd delete them because they're aged, but I go in there and add new descriptions and make sure that in the description you see something about Cancun or Cancun beach weddings or Caribbean beach weddings, right, in the pin itself. And then make sure the link to the Cancun wedding page or the Playa Car wedding page or whatever it is updated and correct. Once you've done that, and again, this is the simplest search somebody could do. Cancun weddings. They could add Cancun beach weddings, Cancun all-inclusive beach weddings, Cancun all-inclusive resort weddings, right? There's all these different variations. You got to kind of like write some clever little blurb or two or 50. If you have 50 pictures, right? And you got 50 hooks in the water and 50 possibilities of showing up for something you're targeting. Again, you should create a board, that is Cancun weddings, and then a board that's Playa del Carmen weddings, and then a board that it's Riviera Maya weddings, right? And do the same similar thing so that you have all of these images that are now shareable and embeddable, all right? And so it's great content. So here's an idea for like somebody that is not a big, huge international or vacation destination, right? Say you're a small business, something like a little handyman company. So here's my Small Jobs Denver. I got a whole thing, about that here. Under local SEO, you can learn a little bit about that. And so this site has actually been shut down. I moved home, and so I have another one called Thomas Bowman Handyman. That's actually not really running either. It's closed down because of this, virus thing that's going around. But I am still building it up a little bit. And so within these two sites, I have quite a few. I have a whole channel that I created. So I went and created an account for my handyman company, and then I went out and I found all kinds of little products and stuff that people could potentially use, right? And so even went to YouTube and I got different video collections from locksmiths and stuff, so that I wanted to rank for simple little lock repairs in my backyard, right? And so down here I have everything all the way down to like child baby proofing equipment, so and pictures of ceiling fans, right? And so just that kind of content. And I'll just show you real quick. with a simple plugin, that content is embeddable, right? And so somebody can click this, and then they're off to, you know, and it keeps my window open, right? Opens up in a new window, and the consumer can look and be like, oh, cool, and then they'll hopefully come back and ask me to do some installing of, this is a simple thing to install these kind of deterrents, right? And so, yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. I think there's probably 50 different pages of different, even wall, floor, and bank covers. And I think there's something in here somewhere that has to do with shutters and every kind of lock and door peeper you could think of, and security cameras and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, a small business can use this for a quick way to make pages of content, all right, without having to put a slew of written word, and it lends value to the overall consumer experience should they actually surf around your site. But more importantly, what I've noticed as a small business is that people don't even go to my website. I have all of this content. Look at it all. And all of this content, and people just don't even look at it, right? It gets them to the website. Maybe they save something, save a link. But at the end of the day, when they come through Google search and stuff like that, they're looking for the phone number, which I had to take down, right? And they're looking to call. And so at the end of the day, this is more for lead generation. And so, yeah, there's a lot of pages of content here, right, guys? And so, yeah, just everything I could possibly think of that I wanted to. And again, I was just getting started. This was up like a year and a half, right? And so, if I'd have let this go for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years, oh my goodness, I would have cross-linked all the different posts and everything. I really didn't get too well into. You can see that almost every one of these here. Now on my other web handyman site, I haven't really activated all that stuff. And so I've been thinking about just shutting this one down completely. I don't know if I'm going back to Denver. So I thought about copying all the content, all the files, and switching out all the keywords and stuff and put it onto the other website. But man, that's a week's worth of work. Anyway, but you see the idea here. So Pinterest as like a search engine. I'm figuring out if a consumer were here looking for Cancun weddings, you make sure that your stuff is all over in here, right? Yeah. And again, there's another thing to look as I glance at these images. There's no overlays. There's a lot of non-overlay images. That's a nice one, right? And so, yeah, it's another thing to really look for. I'd have something that says, our Cancun weddings and our Cancun beach weddings or something, and some cool little background would be nice. So as I scan through them, a few things jump out. That jumps out. It's a Hard Rock Cancun. They're on our list of people that show up on the first 2 pages of Google for Cancun weddings. Alright, so you get the idea. And so Pinterest also has paid ads, and so I think it's a little crazy hard to get going. And so there's all kinds of things. There's certain rules that they make really hard to for you to figure out. So if you start getting all your images banned, you gotta reach out to somebody. Apparently in the hotel, or what they call housing market, right? Pinterest will give you some grief over like everything. How you structure who you're displaying the ads to. So you can't just so I do vacation promotions, so I can't just target ages 30 to 65. I have to target everybody equally. So I have to spend the extra buck that way. But you can see that very quickly, if I was a resort, and really I don't know how a handyman or something would use this, but a smaller company that maybe was in a bigger demographic, like a big city, you could probably use this very easily. And then if you're a national company, obviously you could do all kinds of products and services here this way, right? But for hotels and resorts, or for Cancun weddings, this niche is wide open, I would say. And so maybe in our series we're going to create some images. We're going to create some images, and we'll set up some good descriptions, and we'll post them here, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so check it out. Pinterest ads, great idea for quick, instant results. And then if you got a little time to put into actually creating images and stuff that are very appealing, potentially clickable, and then that ultimately have links like this, and some kind of written word. So if I were to click this image, I'm hoping that since it's like really top of the thing, right? Here's a little description. They got sizing. Yeah, they got a whole thing here, right? That's why this pin is doing so good. It's actually got multiple pins. Oh no, I'm sorry. It took us to the actual website. Let's look at that again. I wonder if they're paying for this, huh? Promote it. Yeah, so it's a promoted. So again, we were just talking about pins that you pay for. And so here's a pin that somebody is paying something. We just clicked it and cost them probably, I don't know, 50 cents or something. I don't know. I thought it was expensive for a click. But then again, you almost got to be an expert at some of these things. I've got a lot of experience with Pinterest, but I gave up at some point. I get tired of dealing with them. They don't like, yeah, with the ads thing, you'd be real careful of running like clearly defined, ads, I guess is what it is. They like really awesome images, but then try not to overlay with too much stuff. But me personally, when I'm doing my own pins and I put them on my website and I put a description in them and I actually, send them over here to Pinterest, yeah, I have all kinds of spammy pictures. Anyway. Now I know they don't like the word timeshare, but really, look, boom, number 1, number 2, number 3. Did I create that one? Nah, that's not me. That's me right there. 45 cenotes. That's how I want to travel too. Nice, the cenotes are ranking here. There you go. Timeshare pros. That's me. So you see that so just like a resort would do, you got to make sure that you created enough pins to kind of, at least there's me again, to show up in the search results. You have something that's clickable, and so it is clickable. See? And you see, it gave me the chance to promote it. No, I don't think so, but you could. Anyway, you get the idea. Pinterest, fantastic as a search engine. Pinterest, fantastic as like using it for lead generation if you're going to do some kind of ads. But you're going to have to hire somebody that really knows their stuff, and that's what I do. I have somebody that knows their stuff, so I just make it their project. But in general, fantastic. Again, there's a lot of opportunity here depending on what niche and what kind of product you're selling. All right, thanks for stopping by, for listening to my rant about Pinterest. And Pinterest is a lead generation tool for hotels and resort marketing or a small business. All right, BowmanWebServices.com.